Okay. Hello everyone. I'm Professor Khushboo Sodi. You are first subject teacher. So in previous lecture we have studied about what is FOSS, right? FOSS क्या है? What is FOSS? Is having two types, that is open and close software, right? So open क्या होता है? Close क्या होता है? We have studied this all, right? This also yesterday, yeah, in last lecture we have studied about this also. So today we're going to see free software. आज हम देखने वाले हैं what is free software. Okay, so free software is a software that gives the freedom to user. Okay, free software means free नाम से समझ में आता है. It's give the freedom to the user to run the software for specific purpose like study, any changes. Right, this software is give freedom to user, to student to change the software to free software is a software that gives the freedom to user to run the software run करना for specific purpose, किसी purpose के लिए or like study or any changes. To do the modification and study, author of free software having the rights to access its source code, right? Author rights होते हैं कि source code हम access कर सकते हैं. Then particularly for computer programs, it's covered by the copyright law to get free software license. The software is not covered by copyright law. Such software in public domain is free. If the source code of free software is the public domain, or we can say that it is available without any restriction, right? Without any restriction, you can use it, right? That is a free software. So the software is not covered by copyright law, right? Such software in the public domain is free. If the source code of free software is in the public domain, or we can say that it is available without any restriction. The digital rights management and software patents are prohibited to user for their rights and the software being free. Free software developed by computer programmers. Okay, this free software is developed by computer programmers. Many computer programmers develop this free software, okay, or by or you can say then or for commercial for profit activities. Okay, it's developed by the computer programmer here. Then let me correct this. Okay, so free software is totally changing from closed software. So closed software से totally change, right? Like Google Docs, then Google Docs, then Sheet, then Microsoft Office and Slides. User cannot change this software and study it or share it. Means here free software is totally changing from closed software like Google Docs, Sheet, Microsoft Office and Slides. User cannot change this, right? Only user can study it and share it. They are totally different from the freeware. The closed software is includes in the freeware to use this software, right? You can use it. Restrictive software license and does not provide the access of source code, right? In this does not provide the access to of source code. The form definition of the free software was published by Free Software Foundation. Free software. Let me correct this. Free Software Foundation. So Free Software Foundation, what happened? Foundation is Feb 1986. So the formal definition of free software was published by the Free Software Foundation in it published when Feb 1986, and define of free software was written by this software is written by Richard Stallman. Okay, this software is written by this. Okay, and is published in 1986. Okay, so free software, you know very well now what is the free software, and it is developed by the computers programmers. So one of these programmers also there here. He is Richard Stallman. Is foundation in 1986, Feb 1986. Okay, so here Richard Stallman says that this Richard Stallman's this Richard Stallman's what he say? Let's see what he say. Richard Stallman said that Richard Stallman says that software is free software. If people who receive a copy of software have the following for freedom. Matlab he said he software if people who receive a copy of software. Okay, the having four freedoms. Four freedoms. Let's see which one these. First one is first freedom. First freedom, that is 0. Okay, starting initial from 0. So he said that means in this in the freedom 0 to run the program, this is the initial freedom to run the program for any purpose. Okay, for any purpose. Then second one, freedom 1, that is freedom 1. Let's see what is freedom 1. To study how the program work and change. To study how the program to study how the program work and change. It to make change it, how the program work and change it, to make it what? To make it what you wish, to make it do what you wish, Okay, so third one means see Richard's Free Software Foundation published in Feb 1986 by Richard Stallman. So Richard Stallman says that software is a free software if people who receive a copy of software have the following four freedoms. So first one is means initially start with freedom 0, that is first to run the program for any purpose. You can run the program for any purpose. Then freedom 1 is that to study the program work, program work and change it to make it to do what you wish. मतलब जो भी आपको requirement है उसके according आप change कर सकते हो. You can change it as per your requirement. Okay, let's see the next one, freedom second here. Freedom second to redistribute. To redistribute it and make copies. So So what? So you can help your neighbor. So you can your neighbors. Yeah. Then okay. Then fourth one, that is freedom 3. Freedom 3. Let's see. Freedom 3 is to improve the program. To improve the program. To improve the program means these are the freedom, you know. Now हम लोगों ने प्रीवियस लेक्चर में डिस्कस किया है कि यूजर कैसे इम्प्रूवमेंट कर सकता है, वो कैसे चेंजेस कर सकता है, राइट? नो नीड टू एक्सप्लेन अगेन इन डिटेल हियर आल्सो, जस्ट आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग यू, गिविंग यू द फ्रीडम which say by Richard Stallman. So here freedom 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 freedom is given, right? And these four freedoms what start with the freedom 0, right? So one minute, let me correct this. So freedom 1, you freedom 1 2 3 4 is there, so it starts with 0. That's why here freedom 3 is we are saying here that freedom 3 is what? To improve the program and release UI improvements. Okay. Improvements to the public, to the public. Okay, so these are the four freedom in free open source software. First you have to know that this free software is developed by computers programmer, okay, and then this software is released, yeah, published in Feb 1986 by Richard Stallman, and Richard Stallman sets the four freedom here. That is a freedom 1 is, sorry, freedom 0, that is to run the program for any purpose. You can आप किसी purpose के लिए program run कर सकते, that is you having this freedom. Then you having the next freedom, that is to study how the program work and change it to make it what you wish. मतलब you having the freedom, you can study this program, you can change it, and you can make it whatever you want as per your requirement. If someone is working on any project, then according to their project requirement, he she or they can improve, or they can make change. Okay, then freedom to say that to what? To redistribute and make copies, so you can help your neighbor. Means you can redistribute this program, sorry, what? You can redistribute this and you can make the copy to help your neighbors here. Then means you are programmers, so if you're having some team, then you can help to means if you are a team leader, then you can provide the particular code to someone, and you can make a एक वन ऑफ द टीम, मतलब आप टीम बना के स्टडी कर प्रोजेक्ट पर वर्क कर सकते हैं. सो redistribute, you can redistribute this, and you can make the copy, and you can help your team's members, right? Then freedom 3 said that to improve the program and release your improvement to the public. Means you, with the help of, you have rights to improve this in suppose in any of these programs having some having some error, then you can improve this, you having these rights. Okay, no restriction is here. That is a freedom which given is set by Richard Stallman. Okay. So the freedom 1, so here freedom 1, sorry, freedom 1 and 3. So here freedom 1 and 3 are requiring source code. Here freedom 1 and 3 are requiring what? Why is requiring? You read it and you will get, आपको समझ जाएगा इस क्यों चाहिए. The source So freedom 1 and 3 are requiring source code. Why? Because freedom 1 is saying that here this is a freedom 1, okay, not this one. Because it starts with initial 0, 1, 2 and 3. So to study how the program work and change. Again, if you having the source code, then only you can study, right? And you can change it and you can make it what you wish, right? And three is last one is to improve the program and release your improvement. So without source code, how you can improve and how you can study? That's why you require requiring source code here. Okay, so the freedom 1 and 3 are requiring source code. Without source code, study and implementation या modification are impossible. I said already यही आपको मैंने कहा कि without source code you can't do study, means you can't study on this particular course, particular code and anything, and you can improve, you can modify, right? It is impossible. So you require for 3 in the freedom 1 and 3 source code. Okay. So these are the these are the freedoms which is said by Richard Stallman. So free open source software is published in Feb 1986 by Richard Stallman. Okay, now let's see for some example of free software. Some example of some example of free software. We can write like this also. Let me change this color, then you will get better and same nahi lagana chahiye, right? We will take here red and let's check the okay. Now free software, some example of free software. Operating system OS you are using, आप लोग सभी कंप्यूटर यूज करते हैं और अब तक आपने कंप्यूटर से देखा हैविंग द ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, राइट? आजकल हम लोग विंडोज 10, पहले हम लोग विंडो एक्सपी यूज करते थे. तो अब विंडोज 10 आजकल मोस्ट लोग विंडोज 10 एंड न्यू वर्जन, अपडेट वर्जन we all are using today nowadays, right? So Linux also one of the operating system, right? Linux big operating system hai. This is the example of free software Linux, and you can say operating system in Linux and whatever you are using, that is Windows XP, right? These are the example of free software. Okay, then next server send mail transform. Here the server क्या करता है काम? Send mail transport and Apache web server. Apache web server operating system में Linux, Windows and then XP, then Windows 10, Windows 7. These are the software. BSD. These are the OS. Sorry, of this example of this software, free open source. Then in server you can say that Apache send email transport, Apache web server. These are the example of free software. Then relation database system. Here relation database system. Okay, in relation database system MySQL. This is आपको एक database subject is FYCS में, then you will study about what is the MySQL and all this also. So example of free open source. Okay, when you will study, then you will get this. Why I'm writing here this relation database system. Then one more और भी दे सकते हैं. enough for example for you, means आपको समझने के लिए I am giving here for example. Okay, Mozilla Firefox. This is a web browser, right? Web browser. Okay, so free open source is what is a free software is a software that gives the freedom. Here in this software everyone is having freedom, right, to the user. to run the software for specific purpose, right? Here is having freedom to, you can run it, you can change it, but for this this developed by some programmers. So one of this is published in 90 what 1986 in Feb, and is by Richard Stallman. So Stallman में चार freedoms mention किया, that is initially फ्रीडम 0, 1, 2 एंड 3. सो उसमें अगर कोई भी इस फ्रीडम में भी रिक्वायर 1 and 3 are requiring source code, because without source code you can't improve the code, you can't study, it's impossible for you. So freedom 1 and 3 are requiring the source code, right? आप हम लोगों ने ये रन freedoms भी study की. Then we have seen the some example of free software, that is operating system. Means you are using, जब भी आप कंप्यूटर में आप सभी के OS होती है, right? किसी के में Windows X10, XP 7, Linux, BSD, whatever operating system जो भी आप लोग use करते हैं, that is the example of free software also. Then server, that is send mail transfer, Apache web server, ये सब भी example है का फ्रीडम फ्री सॉफ्टवेयर का. देन रिलेशन डेटाबेस सिस्टम, MySQL मतलब ये आप रिलेशन डेटाबेस सिस्टम में आप एक सब्जेक्ट ली, आई थिंक सो फर्स्ट ईयर में या सेकंड सेम में, मे बी आई दिस सेम में. सो MySQL ये आपका डेटाबेस प्रेजेंट करने के लिए, एम्प्लॉयज का डेटा एंड ऑल डेटा प्रेजेंट करने के लिए, उसकी चेंजेस या यू कैन डू इट, मीन्स जो भी डेटा हम लोग मेंटेन करते हैं, वी कैन, दिस सॉफ्टवेयर हेल्प, वो हेल्प करता है अपन को. ओके, देन Mozilla Firefox, नो नीड टू एक्सप्लेन यू व्हाट इज द Mozilla Firefox वेब ब्राउजर, यू ऑल आर यूजिंग, आप तक 10, 11, 12 में भी आपने इसको यूज किया. सो नो नीड टू एक्सप्लेन यू अबाउट दिस, राइट? सो दिस आर द सॉफ्टवेयर. सो नाउ लेट्स सी दिस difference between free software, sorry, open source software and free software. So let's discuss. But before this, let me change the color. Let's take the here this. No, you will not like, maybe. Let me change. Okay, sky one. Okay. What is that? Oh. Not look good, right? Let's change it. We are taking here red is okay. Okay, so open source software and free source, this is a different. Let's discuss this different. First point is open source software. Open source software, I'm writing like this, but in exam write full form. Okay, software. Open source software is, it's not what? It's not necessary to be free software. It's not necessary. It's not necessary to be free, right? To be free software. That is the first point of open source software. It is not necessary to be free software. Free software is called open source software. And here free software, is called what? Open source software. Let me correct this first. Okay. This software is called as a open source software, right? And it is free, and it is now no need to say why and all, because हम दो लेक्चर मतलब प्रीवियस लेक्चर एंड अभी की मॉर्निंग सुबह अभी के वन कुछ टाइम पहले भी हम लोग इसकी डिस्कशन कर रहे थे, राइट? सो first is a open source software. First difference is that open source software is not necessary to be free. सॉफ्टवेयर की कोई जरूरत नहीं कि ये फ्री ही होगा, राइट? बट फ्री सॉफ्टवेयर इज कॉल्ड ओपन सोर्स सॉफ्टवेयर एंड इट इज अ फ्री. Okay, it's called free software and it is free for everyone. Open source software can be work with Google. Open source. What happened here? Okay. Open source software. Open source software can be work with sorry. Open source software can be work with the Google Docs, Sheet. Now maybe आपको समझ रहा होगा, हम लोगों ने इसके एग्जांपल देखे थे, राइट? In my first lecture. Microsoft Office and all, right? Correct. Oh, wait. Open source software is a let me correct this. Wait. Then Docs, I told. Then Sheet, Microsoft Office. Okay, these are the example of open source software, right? There is work with means open source software can work with the Google Docs, Sheet, Microsoft Office, right? Then free software does not allow working with them, right? So here does not allow free software. Now let it be. Free software does not allow, doesn't allow, right? Allow working with them means this Google this Microsoft Office, Google Docs, and and what Microsoft Office, Google Docs, and Google Sheets can work with open source is nothing but we can say that like closed source software, we can say like this also. But in free software does not allow the working with them. Okay. Okay, then in free open source software, the open source software is very useful to you and your business. Okay, useful to you, useful. 1 minute. Okay, so what I'm telling here is useful for, it's useful to you and to you, right? It's useful to you and your business means with the help of this open source you can improve your business, right? Your business to useful to you and your business. Okay, when we provide free software it is good or right thinking to do. So let me do the correct this. I don't like this. 1 minute. Let me correct this. Give the this sign. So here, let me correct. Okay. Then if you look good, attractive, then only you will be read, right? Others you will thinking why. So useful to you and your business, right? And here what, when we provide a free software, it is good or right thinking to do. So when we provide the software, when we provide this software, free software, it is this free software. So what will happen? It is good. It is good. When we provide the software, it is good or right thinking to do, or right thinking to do. Okay. So, okay, wait. Okay. So, open source software, this is first point and this is second one, right? And here third point is that in first point, open source software is not necessary to do with free software, right? And in free software, what free software is called as an open source software, and it is free. And then open source software can work with can work with Google Docs, Sheet, Microsoft Office, but free software does not allow working with them, right? Because you know very well why. If you want, then go first check again my previous lecture. Then here useful to you and your business means you can with the use of this, with the help of the software also you can improve your business, right? You in this you can't exchange the code, you can modify, but you can use it or use करने के लिए क्या बुराई है, right? So you can improve your business also if you require in your business line the software then. So when we provide this free software, it is good or thinking to do. Why? Because here we can change and modify according to our view, right? The open source software is very useful to you and your business. Here, the first third one. The open source software is a software which is provides source code freely for study and everyone to. So here what? The free software is a what? Software. So here free software. So sorry, some net problem was there. Okay, here free open source useful to use and your business. Then fourth point is what open source software is. Open source software. You have to read full form. Okay, software is software which provide what? Which is provided a source code freely. Okay, source code is free. You can't change it, you can modify it, but source you can see, you can study, right? And everyone for study. Okay, and here what free software as being software that sure that end user and freedom is using studying, sharing, and modification. Here says you can do. Here you can do modification. Okay, modification you can do here. You can share this code. You can study without study how you can sharing, how you can do modification, right? So sharing purpose, modification, all can you do here. So here we have study about what is free software, then so freedoms, four freedoms, then example of free software and difference between these open source software and free software. So these four differences are there. And you can, if you know, you can add, आप और भी adding कर सकते हो इसमें. Okay, so today's session over here. Thank you.